Visions are clarified when you grow in knowledge. Vision, long-term vision, is important to have knowledge. Now, let's look at the natural side. If you're going to have long-term vision, you have to study whatever it is that you're doing. If you are an accountant and you study generally accepted accounting principles, commonly known as the GAAP, they have things that the IRS may change. And if you don't know what the changes are, you're doing things the old way. And it may be that you can get by doing things the old way. But if you are an accountant that does taxes, then you're not getting your people the most money they can get simply because there are deductions that the IRS said are allowable, and you don't know they're allowable. So this money you're giving away because you don't know. Some people that have professional jobs, they have what they call CEUs, continuing education units. And what they say is, if you're going to be good at this job, you have to every so often go and get updates. If you're going to be a medical physician, if you want to know what the latest and greatest is, then you have to every so often go back to a class that's going to tell you this is what the update is. Well, spiritually, it is no different. Nothing has changed in terms of what Christ has done, but you have changed. And the revelations that God can give you are different now because you're a little bit older than you were then. Some of you may have had the experience. I'm grasping for illustrations because I want you to understand this. Some of you have had parents. And when you were a parent, all you knew about your parent was that they knew how to say no and you can't. That's all you knew. But when you got grown, you begin to realize, my daddy got a sense of humor. And you begin to realize he had dreams, or she had dreams, or she had ambitions, or she had disappointments. Are they a different parent? No, that's the exact same parent. But now you have grown. And now they're able to reveal more of themselves to you because you can handle it. Well, God does not change, but you change. And so now he can reveal more of himself to you because now you are able to handle it. But when you're a baby, you can't do this, you can't do that. Because as of yet, you are not able to deal with. That's why Paul said to one of the churches, I fed you with milk and not with meat. Because you're not able to handle meat. So I have to feed you like a baby. I have to break the food down. I have to chew it up almost and put it in your mouth so that you can digest it because you don't have the ability yet to digest strong meat. Long-term vision requires the ability to continue to learn. As you continue to learn, you get to the point where you spend your time more wisely as you learn. Because there's some things in life, ladies and gentlemen, as you get older, they're just not worth doing. They may be fun to do, but as you get older, you realize it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the energy to do it. It's just not worth the time to get in it and get out of it. It's just not worth doing. That's why Paul was talking to, I believe it was either Timothy or Titus, I think it was Titus. And he said, Titus, look, tell the old men, the aged men, that they need to be grave. They need to be sober. They need to be temperate. Because when you get a certain age in life, you ought to be past trying to be like the young folks. You ought to be past that. You don't go out and buy stuff to try to impress other folks when you get a certain age. Amen. That's the benefit of getting older. Amen. Really is. That's one of the greatest blessings of getting older is that you have nobody to impress. If you got a suit from 1932 and you still wear it, so what? So what? It's still good? It don't shine. I got a little hole back there, but if I keep my pants leg down, nobody will see it. And there's money that I can put in the bank and that can be working for me rather than going out buying a new suit to try to impress people that don't like you anyway. And you get age on you. It teaches you There's certain things that you need to do. There's certain things you don't need to do. Long-term vision helps you. And that's why it's good, particularly for those of you that are young people, to talk to older people, because they can tell you what it looks like from the end. You know what it looked like going in. They know what it looked like coming out. And sometimes the same circumstance, same situation looks a whole lot different coming out than it did when you were going in. Long-term vision requires continuous study. We talked last week about Zuckerberg, the one who created Facebook. And if you study generations, one of the things you understand about this generation, as I said, is that they like what's called connectedness. They like to be connected. They don't go very long without telling somebody what's going on with them, because they like to feel connected. They text all the time. They tweet all the time. They do all these other stuff all the time because they like to feel connected. And if you really want to punish somebody that's under 20, you take away their toys where they can't connect with somebody else. Because they don't know how to be by themselves. Some of us that grew up in the country, you know, they may send you down in the North 40 and your job was to work in the North 40 all day long. They come see about you at the end of the day, make sure you're not dead. Other than that, that's it. And so you're out there by yourself all day long. But this generation has not done that. And so if you study the generation and you understand that that's the way it is, then you can come up with a solution or come up with an idea that will be profitable for you, but will also help this generation, because that's where you are. You have to continue to study. What worked in my day may not work in their day. I have absolutely no purpose for sharing all my personal information. I don't. Some people do. I don't. I have no use for that at all. It does not matter to me if I don't tweet you or text you or Facebook you. But I know if I am going to reach the young people in the congregation, somebody's got a tweet. Somebody's got a text. Somebody's got an email. Because that's how you keep up with them. If I wait for all of them to come into a setting like this, I'm going to lose most of them. So every week, I need to be tweeting. Every week, somebody needs to be texting. Every week, somebody needs to Facebook them. Because that's how you reach them. And if you want a generation, if you want to reach a people that are in a different category, a different age group than where you are, you have to continue to study. Because life is different than the way that you grew up. A group of gentlemen and I were talking yesterday, and I'm getting ready to close. We were talking yesterday just about work environments. The work environment is different. I did a presentation once to a company, and they asked me to come in and talk about the generations and the different generations and how, as from an employment standpoint, you deal with them. And one of the things that I had to share with them is that in this generation, you are not going to have 20-year employees. You're not. So if you're basing your benefits on having an employee to be there 20 years, a lot of the best and brightest people coming out of college you're going to miss, because they're not going to give you 20 years. They'll give you 5 good years if you get 5 good years. And you need to make sure in those 5 good years you have given them lots of rotation, you've given them lots of visibility, you've given them lots of instantaneous feedback, because that's what they're used to. You cannot wait for a whole year to give somebody a performance review if they're in this new generation, because they're going to think their job is not worth anything and they're going to go down the street. Not necessarily for more money, just because there's somebody who's going to give them instantaneous feedback. And if you're a technology company and you want a long-term vision of staying on top of technology, you have to continue to study the population of the people that you're trying to reach, because they are vastly different. My day, you got out of school, you got a good job, you stay on that job till you're 65, and when you're 65, you get a gold watch and your pension and you're gone. Church is different now. Everything is different now. And our long-term vision has to be tapered with a knowledge of the people we're trying to reach. We have to be different. We have to do some things different. We will continue in the coming year to do some things differently because we have to reach the people we're trying to reach. Call and response doesn't work anymore when it comes to songs. Some of you may not even know what call and response is. But that's when the old deacons or the old elders would get up, they would call out a verse, and everybody sang it. Most people don't know how to do that anymore because the generation has changed. Long-term vision means that I need to make sure that I am looking at the changes that's taking place in the area that I want a vision in. Maybe one day moving your money here is important, but because of changes in government or changes in policy, moving your money someplace else is important. If you want to have long-term stability, you got to keep up. You got to keep up. You must have a way to get knowledge continuously coming into you if you're going to have long-term vision. What is the standard today for the area that you want a vision in? What is the standard today for getting in shape? Before it used to be walking and lifting weights. Well, now they have things called insanity, where they can get you better results in half the time without all the stress on your joints. Well, if you don't know that and you want to open up a gym, your gym is not going to have people because you are out of date. You have not let your vision be influenced by knowledge. You must study. You must study. Whatever your area of influence, even if you're retired, you must continue to study. You must continue to have information, good information, accurate information coming into you if you're going to stay on the cutting edge and if your vision is going to come to pass. What are the changes in tax laws? What are the changes in inheritance taxes? What are the changes in church law? What are the changes in real estate law? What are the changes in whatever area that you have a vision in? If you're not up to date, you're falling behind. Add to your faith a mental toughness, a moral excellence. Add to that increasing information. Because to be locked in on one idea that's out of date will wreck your long-term vision. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this time and for the opportunity